Welcome to Tia's Table, where we talk about making fitness and wellness doable for busy women like you and me. Looking for healthy meal ideas, workout motivation, and good conversation? Don't worry, I got you, girl. Sit back, grab a snack, and let's have some girl talk. Hey, girl. Welcome back to another episode of Tia's Table. Happy 2023. Happy New Year. I'm so glad we made it through another holiday season. Girl, pat yourself on the back. Give yourself a round of applause. You did that. You pulled that off. You decorated. You cooked. You baked. You shopped. You wrapped. You created the moments. You created the memories. And now it's time for you to focus on you. Girl, happy January. It's a new month full of opportunity, promise, and lots of change to come. January is definitely the month where everyone tries to embrace something new about themselves, or they look forward to creating a newness in their life or their lifestyle. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. I feel that January, while it is one of those months that encourages change and it encourages newness all around, I feel like if we were to shift our mindset just a little bit, right? And we decided to allow January to be the month that we create a strong foundation for the rest of the year by revisiting some of the habits that are essential to our overall wellness journey, I think that could serve us well for the rest of the year. We're also going to talk today about how showing up as your authentic self can be one of the best strategies that we can all use to manage stress. So let's get right into it. If you're new around here, welcome to Tia's Table. I'm Tia, a certified group fitness instructor and behavior change coach. I help women develop healthier habits that align with the goals that they have for their health, wellness, fitness, and overall lifestyle journey. If you are someone who is in need of a coach to help you remain consistent, develop some momentum, if you need some accountability and things of that nature, girl, feel free to reach out to me. You can do that by emailing me at tiavfitness@gmail.com. Visit my website, tiavfitness.com, or you can always slide into my DMs on Instagram at tiavfitness. And I would be more than happy to see if we will be a great fit to work with one another to help you achieve your goals. So before we get started with the main conversation of this month, let's talk about what I'm eating right now that I'm just like really in love with. I made a tofu egg scramble, which I guess you could also do it as an omelet, but I made it as a scramble because I was feeling a little lazy. And it was just so good. I had it with tofu. I used produce that was already in my refrigerator. So it was left over from things that I had made all throughout the week. So I had some kale in mine, mushrooms, some tomatoes, some green onion. I seasoned it very simply with just some nature seasoning. And it has been so good, so filling, but at the same time, so light. And of course, since it's basically eggs, tofu, and vegetables, it's packed with a lot of protein and all of the other really, really good things that we should be putting on our plates more often. I ate it with a side of leftover roasted potatoes that, you know what? When you roast potatoes in the oven, and this is probably not breaking news to anyone else but me, but I find that when you roast potatoes in the oven, they do so well with being reheated the next day or like later in the week or whatever. When I put potatoes in the air fryer, or if I decide to like fry them for real, they don't give the same. They don't do what they're supposed to do when they leave the microwave. But I find that when you cook them in the oven and you take the time to like do it that way, you can get some really good like leftover potatoes. So I had my tofu egg scramble with a side of like leftover roasted potatoes, and it was like the perfect breakfast. I love it. Now, is that a breakfast that I could eat every single day? Probably not, because you have to cook the things and then you have to add your egg, and it's like steps and chopping and like all of that is involved. So I couldn't probably do that every day, but on the days where I do have time, that breakfast has been so delicious. I think I'm going to share that recipe on Instagram or TikTok. So make sure you're following me on both of those social media channels if you want to see that. But I'm eating that right now and I'm loving it. For my wedding anniversary a couple weeks ago, we went to New Orleans for a couple days just to eat. Like that was the only reason we went. And the food there was incredible. Like it is everything that I would have imagined it to be. It lived up to the hype. I'm going to talk more about that in the random yet relatable segment of the show at the end. So hang in there for that, girl. But I have been dreaming of ways to recreate all of the things that I ate in New Orleans, but like in a healthier way so that I can get a little taste of New Orleans right here in my kitchen. And when I figure out how to do any of those recipes healthier, I'll be sure to share them because my mind was just totally blown at a lot of the things that I got to sample and try there. And I can't wait to tell you all about that trip. So that's what we're eating. I know the recipe in the newsletter is for the tangy cucumbers we talked about last time, but girl, don't worry. I'm going to share this tofu egg scramble with you too, either on social media or on the website. So stay tuned for that. Let's get into our topic for this particular call. I'm so excited to, have our first conversation of the brand new year. I wanted to kind of revisit some of the essential habits that I think everyone should be practicing in order to set the foundation for a really good health, wellness, fitness journey, right? These are things that I talk about all the time. These are things that I talk to my clients about every day. These are the things that I actually have my clients text me about every day, right? Depending on their goals and where they're at in their journey, they're texting me about 1, 2, 3, or all of these things on a regular basis because I really do believe that these habits need to be in place before you can really adopt anything else, before you can change up what you're doing in the gym, before you can start doing any of those Medi-Spa things we've talked about earlier in this season, before you can switch the way you're eating or whatever. These particular habits kind of have to be there. They've got to be in place. So let's quickly run back through these so that we can all get our 2023 started off just right. Number 1, ladies, we have to be drinking our water. And you would be surprised at how many people still don't track their water or still really couldn't tell you how much water they have in a day or how many people aren't drinking enough water. It is not uncommon for someone to tell me that they have a hard time getting 16.9 fluid ounces of water in one day. Like I've heard people say that they carry around that one small bottle all day and they really do genuinely struggle to get it down. So some of the ways that we can make sure that we're drinking the correct amount of water all day is to, number 1, start your day with water. And I know that's tough, especially if you have a morning routine that kind of, is really big on either having a cup of tea or having coffee in the morning. If that's your thing and that's how you get your day started, I totally understand that because this is something very comforting and soothing. And there's some type of almost like religious type practice vibes we get from having that first sip of something hot when you first wake up in the morning. I totally get it. But one thing that I know I've started doing, and I've been doing it for a while now, is that before I go to bed at night, I put a bottle of water next to the bed. So when I wake up in the morning, I immediately grab that bottle of water and I just start sipping it. I start drinking water immediately when I wake up in the morning. And doing that has really helped me make sure that I get my 3 liters of water in each day. Now, of course, we've talked about this before. If you're not drinking any water at all, or if you're struggling to get that 16 ounces in, you shouldn't probably set a goal of getting in 3 to 4 liters of water every day because that's going to be a huge jump for you. Maybe you just start increasing your bottles of water by 1 or 2 each week until you build yourself up to the point where you are hitting that 3-liter mark. And that's a great goal for the month of January. By February, you should definitely be getting in ample amounts of water to help you kind of power through the day, feel hydrated, make it through your workouts, all that good stuff. So let's make sure we're drinking our water. Let's also make sure that we are getting the right amount of exercise in Not necessarily based on your goals or anything like that, but it is recommended that everyone get in at least 30 minutes of some type of physical activity every day. So, goals aside, specific, customized, personal trainer issued workouts aside, we're just talking about the basic requirements for optimum health, and that's 30 minutes a day. So one really great habit with that could be, that maybe you take a walk on your lunch break. Maybe you take a walk after dinner. Maybe you do, some yoga during a time of the day that you would find to be really helpful for a mindful activity. Or maybe you do go to Pilates, or you just find something that you can do for 30 minutes each day to not only develop the habit of exercise and working out on a regular basis, but something that can kind of start pushing you a little bit closer to your goals, right? 210 minutes a week. That's what we're aiming for. Next, and this is the hill that I'm going to climb and be cute on until the day that I die. Everybody should be planning their meals and eating as clean as possible. The meal plan is really where it's at. You want to get into the habit of planning your food for the week, and that includes any eating out that you might be doing. That includes any special events that you might be going to. You want to get to a place where you really don't have too many food surprises because you've prepared yourself mentally to kind of hold yourself accountable for whatever it is that you're eating. So you want to eat as clean as you can, and you want to meal plan as consistently as you can without following any type of trendy fad diets, none of that stuff you see on social media, because anything that's too restrictive is going to be difficult for any of us to keep up with long term. And once you start to feel like you're being deprived of anything, that's only going to make you fall off the wagon a lot faster. And girl, if we have this conversation again in February or March, I want to hear that you're still on the wagon. I don't want anybody falling off, jumping off, or trying to escape the wagon before January is even over. So try not to change how you eat that much. Just, practice some good portion control, plan those meals. And when you have a plan, you're going to be more likely to stick to it. And then the last one is all about rest and recovery. We want to make sure that we're getting good, deep, quality sleep, right? You want to be sleeping for about 8 hours a night. Now, this is one that I know I'm going to be working on because I can tell a huge difference in my energy levels and in the way I feel when I'm sleeping for 8 hours as opposed to me sleeping for half of that. Sometimes I be down bad with my sleep. I might not get in bed some nights during the school week until almost 11, right? And it's not that I'm chilling, watching TV. I'm actually doing things all the way up until I lay down and go to sleep. And then my alarm clock goes off at 5 o'clock. So we've talked about this in my desire to be a person that rises at 5 o'clock so that I can have a morning routine before I get into the day. And I find that what's been difficult about that for me is the fact that, girl, I don't go to bed until so late. So when my alarm clock goes off at 5 o'clock, I'm truly just not ready to get up. I am still very much so needing to be asleep at 5 o'clock. I haven't gotten enough rest to get up that early. So my goal for this year is to move my bedtime up so that I'm able to wake up and feel truly rested when that alarm clock goes off. I would love to start my day, with my water, with a cup of tea, with maybe 5 to 10 minutes of yoga, stretching my body out before going into the kitchen and making breakfast and lunches for my family. So, keep me in your T's and P's for that, because bedtime around here, my kids go to bed at 8 o'clock sharp. So there's really no reason for me to still be up doing all the things at 11. Girl, if you ain't done that laundry by the time, that clock strikes 9 o'clock, you need to push that laundry to the next day. And that is what I'm going to have to work on for myself as we go through 2023, because I have a hard time letting some of those tasks go. But yeah, those essential habits, water, working out, eating, meal planning, and getting enough rest and recovery practicing mindful activities and creating that time for self-care, that's just the foundation. That should be the bare minimum that we all should be practicing as far as our habits go. And then anything you do that's above and beyond that will probably be specialized to your goals, right? It'll probably be like the icing on your already really good habit cake. But we all want to make sure that we've set that foundation so that no matter what we decide to try or opt into or out of all throughout the year, that foundation is there. So good luck with your 2023 goals and your habits. I cannot wait to see and hear from everyone with how those essential habits might impact your bigger goals. So let's move into something else that I have given a lot of thought to over the holiday break. And one thing that I'm trying to work on, because I am, I'm going to keep saying this, I'm getting closer to 40 and I'm so excited about it. I turned 39 on February the 7th. And as I get older, I'm becoming more comfortable, just like the girls said I would, right? The girls always say, girl, the closer you get to 40, the less you're going to care about literally almost everything. And they could not have been more right. This is not something that I've tried to do on purpose. It has just kind of naturally happened where I feel like I have become just more comfortable with who I am in a way that doesn't have any shame attached to it. Not that I was ashamed of myself before, but before I probably would kind of like dim my light, not speak up, not use my voice, or not be like my whole full self because I felt like people couldn't take it. But now I'm like, oh, nope, we're going to be our whole full selves. And if people can't take it, well, girl, they just can't handle it. Okay. And I have found that for me, that has been one of the best things that I could have ever done for stress management and managing my anxiety. Now, why? What does all that have to do with each other, right? Because I know somebody is thinking that. I believe that when you use your voice and you show up as your authentic self, that it really does help reduce your stress because you're not thinking so much anymore. Like I used to be in my head all the time about what I should be doing, what I should be saying. Don't say this, don't say that, use your whatever. And because my mind was constantly racing, I was creating an unnecessary and unhealthy like adrenaline in myself when the option to just be myself and let other people deal with it was always right there. It was always right there. So I'm using this as one way to kind of cope with anxiety and manage my stress. I feel like when we are our authentic selves, it allows us to pretty much set ourselves free. It gives you time. It gives you your time back. It definitely gives you your time back because I'm not internalizing situations the way that I used to. I'm not spending so much time going through all of the scenarios in my mind anymore. My mind feels way more free. I feel like I worry about being perceived a lot less. And with that has come the courage to just simply be myself, right? Without even really having to try so hard. Like it's just naturally happened. I feel like this is important on a health, fitness, wellness journey. If you're trying to kind of revamp whatever routine you may have had in place, or if you're a person who feels like you have kind of struggled with kind of showing up as you consistently, I feel like this can be something that could truly impact your journey, because I feel like showing up as yourself, right? Number one, you have to show up as yourself if you want to make any change happen, right? Who are you changing if not yourself, right? Right. Absolutely right. I feel like something that I heard either on TV or in a TikTok video or, sorry, I had to get off of that exercise ball. It was killing me. I feel like something that I heard recently in an interview or something, someone said that the greatest adversity that we come into contact with in life is the defeat of self, right? And I feel like when you don't show up as your authentic self in all areas of life, everywhere you go, that is the number one way that you are defeating yourself. That is the number one way of you like setting yourself back, of you not really giving yourself the opportunity to live and thrive in a way that's healthy, because you're constantly you are constantly trying to suffocate some part of you, right? And I'm trying to think of like the best example of this. Truly, the only thing that comes to mind is Beyonce's song Church Girl, because I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. I feel like if you were someone who was raised, especially if you were raised in the South, I feel like especially if you were raised in the South and you're a Black girl, then you were probably brought up to maybe kind of be seen and not heard all the time, right? It was only in certain circumstances where it was okay for you to like speak up and be loud, or like speak up and be yourself, especially if you dared to be different in any kind of way. So if your personality was really expressive or loud, if you dressed different, if you were into different things that maybe people didn't understand or they didn't think was normal, then you learned pretty early on in your life to kind of present yourself in a way that was pleasing to other people. And then after a while, that just becomes habit for you. Or that might even become like the new you, the who you are, right? I think it's a blessing if you were able to always kind of just be yourself. So maybe you cannot relate to what I'm talking about at all. Count yourself, girl, more blessed than most. But if you were a person who grew up with any type of like expectation on how you should dress, how you should speak, where you should go to school, what you should do for a living, like any of those things, you probably can relate to what I'm talking about, because after a while, instead of showing up as yourself in all areas of life, what you learn to do is maybe be your whole full self around certain people who you think can handle it. You learn very on who can handle you and who can't. So you, like I said, you suffocate certain parts of yourself when around certain people. So, and this is not code switching. This is different than code switching. Code switching is when, you put on that professional front when you're at work and it's like boom, boom, boom. You say what you got to say. You do what you got to do. You play the game to get the money, right? So this is not code switching. This is literally in spaces where you could be your whole full self. You choose to kind of dim your light, not use your voice, not be as expressive as you normally would. Maybe you don't even dress the way you normally would. You just present a whole nother altered version of yourself because of how you feel like you're going to be perceived, or you're trying to just choose the road less traveled. You're trying to choose whichever thing is going to make whatever you're doing, whatever experience you're about to have, or whatever adventure you're going to, just go a lot better. Like, we know these things, right? We know that if we're going to like a family gathering, and you might dress one way when you're like home by yourself, or when you're with your girlfriends, you might be one way, but then when you get with your family, it's kind of like, oh, let me button up. Because I don't want to hear what nobody has to say. Like, I don't feel like these people saying anything to me. That's a little disrespectful. And I feel as if family members don't even see them making comments about what you look like, about what you're doing with your life, whether you've had kids or not, why aren't you married? Like, I don't feel like they see any of that as like, as disrespect. I think they just feel like they're entitled to ask you questions, probably because they gave birth to you on some level, which, I mean, girl, that is what it is. And I think that's just our community. And I don't know if there's anything we're ever going to be able to do about that. But what I do know is that instead of being in those situations now, whereas before, maybe someone would make a snide remark or like a comment about something you may have worn, or, just how you're showing up, something that you're doing. And before, maybe we would have been not as apt to either respond. Maybe we wouldn't speak up for ourselves, or we try to just make sure we were behaving in a way that made all things go pleasantly and smooth. What I have learned now that I'm about to be 39 in like 5 minutes is that, oh no, I'm going to show up as myself. I'm going to be myself. I'm going to say what I have to say. I'm going to hope that, I can coexist with family members and loved ones and friends and all of that as my whole self, right? And I hope that you can love me as I am, because what happens is when I come into these situations where I'm watering down myself or I'm suffocating parts of me, I'm literally holding my breath throughout this whole time that we are being with each other, right? And as I'm holding my breath, my stress level is going up, right? My stress level is going up. And when I leave this event or this gathering or whatever it is, when I leave, I'm literally exhaling on my entire way home. And I shouldn't ever feel that way leaving something that was meant to be like a good experience for everybody, right? I shouldn't feel that way. So what I have found for myself anyway, is that, Tia, the solution to that is just showing up as you are the whole time. And sure, it might rub people the wrong way a little bit, or people might just be taken aback and surprised when they hear you say certain things, or maybe you're a little bit louder than what they know you to be, or maybe, the sass might be a little unexpected. But when you leave an event, having been your whole self, you leave feeling really good. You're in a good mood. You feel like maybe you could even go somewhere else after this. I don't feel like I have to come home, take a shower, and literally like decompress because I've been holding my breath for like days and days and days and days and days, or the hours that I was at this particular thing, because I was trying to suppress who I really was to appease other people. People who are definitely being themselves every day that they wake up, right? So that's another lesson that I've learned the closer that I'm getting to 40 is just like, I'm like, okay, let me get this straight. My whole life, or at least for chunks of my life at a time here and there, I have definitely tried to fit the image or the idea that other people have had of me, or I've tried to fit into the mold of their expectations as much as I could to appease them, make them happy, think of me in a certain way or whatever, to the demise of myself, right? So I'm stressed out trying to be this person for you that I'm not even, right? And what I've learned from that is like, but you are getting the privilege of being yourself every day. And that's not fair. Like, that's just not fair. And I know people say like, once you get to another certain age, or, people who are older, like they don't have a filter anymore. So maybe they are like in the peak of their authenticity. And maybe when you're in your late 30s, you're just now coming into it. But what I'm taking from the generations that are before me is that like, I don't need to wait until I'm in my 60s to start, giving people Tia Uncut. When Tia Uncut is like literally right here now, and I'm saying all these things in my mind. I'm definitely like coming home and like having a whole Moesha diary moment, minus the writing, because girl, who has the time? But I'm definitely coming home and at least having an Issa Rae moment in my mirror, being like, girl, when someone so said something to you, why didn't you say so-and-so back? Why didn't you speak up for yourself? Why didn't you show up as your host? Why didn't you wear the outfit that you really wanted to wear? Like, because girl, literally everybody else is doing it. And because of that, they might be stressed in other ways in life, but they're managing stress in a different way than you are. What we're talking about today is the stress that we put on ourselves by not showing up as who we really are, right? And I really feel like when we are brave enough, when we have the courage enough, when we just stop caring so much about the opinions of other people, or how we'll be perceived, or, oh my God, what will they think of me? Or they won't think of me in this way anymore. And we just like stop caring and we just show up, be ourselves in a way that makes us feel good and makes us feel happy. And we really do start allowing ourselves to lead from a place of love for self first. I really do think we'll feel our stress levels go down, right? We will feel our stress levels go down. And when your stress levels go down, all of this other stuff that we try to work on all the time will just naturally happen, right? The way that stress affects your body is just so crazy. You could be doing all the right things, but if your body is holding on to lots and lots of stress, you may not see the scale move. You may not feel like you're making any progress because your body just can't fight stress. Just how they say you can't outwork a bad diet, right? You cannot outwork or out-eat a body that's full of stress. And like I said, everybody may not be able to relate to this, but I know for me, one of the ways that I know I was stressing myself out in the past was trying to fit the mold of the Tia that everyone had, in their minds. And now that I'm getting older, I'm just like, oh, I don't know who that girl was. That's somebody that y'all created. This is the real me. And I have been her this whole time. I was just, suppressing her, suffocating her. And God knows that girl wants to breathe. Like it's been 39 years already. She's ready to come out like Diana Ross. Okay. All right. So for the girls out there who might be trying to figure out where their stress could possibly be coming from, because maybe you like your job, maybe you're in healthy relationships, maybe you don't really feel stress or you can't identify the stress in other areas of your life, because I was that person. I was like, no, I motherhood really doesn't stress me out. I mean, those kids get on my nerves, but no more than anybody else's children gets on their nerves. So that, it's a healthy, normal stress level. I feel the same way about being married. My husband gets on my nerves, but I still love him. That's still bae. So I feel like that's a healthy, normal amount of stress there. My parents and my immediate family, like they're doing really well. Of course, we worry about our parents as they age, but I feel like that's a normal, healthy stress level. So where is my particular stress coming from? And just through a lot of work and self-reflection, I was like, oh, boo, it's you. Like you are stressing yourself out by trying to fulfill all of the different roles of all of these different images all of these other people have of you, and none of them are serving you. And to boot, it is stressing you out. You're stressed out over that. So maybe if you could just focus on just being one version of yourself and showing up as that one version of yourself everywhere you go, like, girl, that's going to free up your mind in ways that you can't even explain. You will just feel so much more free. You'll be happier, and you will in turn feel your stress levels go down. And that has worked for me in ways that I'm really trying to express, but I really don't even have the words to do it. Like, it's been a remarkable feeling to grow up a little bit more. I guess we never stop growing up is also what I'm learning, but getting closer to 40, I'm like, oh yeah, it's just so much better just to be me. Like that is really what this whole episode of the podcast is about. I want to encourage everybody, show up as yourself all the time, everywhere you go. And for the people that can handle it, they'll be able to handle it, and y'all can keep rocking together. For some people, you might have to have some little heart-to-heart conversations with them and let them know that what got, the stuff they used to pull yesterday won't be happening anymore as we move forward. So people will probably have to learn how to treat you all over again, but that's okay because we're really great teachers. I can teach you how to treat me as long as, there's a level of respect there. So, hopefully that helps everybody. Hopefully this isn't, just like coming out of nowhere. And I also feel like for people who feel as if, and this is where, here we go. Because I did reference Beyonce's Church Girl. And I have to just say this because I'm a girl from the South. And I love being from the South. And being brought up in the South means more than likely, girl, you was brought up in the black church, right? Where there is, depending on what type of church you went to and all of that, there might be like an extra layer to this for you because you don't want to disappoint anybody in the church. And for that, all I can say is something that has really helped me is that, number one, we have to remember that these are other human beings placing these level of expectations on you, right? You have to be who you feel like God created you to be in order for you to get to where you want to go, in order for you to fulfill his promise for your life, for you to fulfill the purpose that he has set for your life, for you to even find that purpose and all of that, you've got to be who he created you to be. The moment you start being someone else, it is my personal belief, and girl, I'm not nobody's pastor or reverend, but it's my personal belief that you instantly get taken off of that trajectory. The moment you start being someone else, you can only get to where you're supposed to go by being your whole, full, true self. I believe that so very deeply, right? So the second we start changing because maybe sister so-and-so said this, or brother so-and-so said that, or someone said, or some, whatever. And I'm not saying that taking advice is a bad thing, or that you shouldn't have mentors or whatever. We just have to use some strong discernment and know when stuff is being given to us in love and when advice is being given to us that's not at the detriment of us becoming a whole completely different person, right? Yes, and I think we know how to distinguish the two. So if you are like me and you feel like you are just now starting to step out into the woman you were always meant to be, if you feel like you are just now starting to pull back the layers and actually show people like your whole, true, full, fun, sassy self, girl, just know it's okay. It's never too late to make a good decision. And any day that you wake up and decide to be yourself, that is a good decision made, right? So keep all of that in mind. I hope that was helpful for somebody. I hope that that spoke to someone's spirit today, because the relief that you're going to get from not having to worry about being someone else as you move through 2023, it's going to give you so much peace. It is going to make all the other things that you're trying to do just so much easier. You won't constantly feel like you're running from something or hiding something or having to change who you are. Because, girl, that's frustrating. Like, can you even imagine having to get dressed to go somewhere and you're like, oh, well, let me put on this because I know this is, this is acceptable for what I'm doing or where I'm going or whatever. When it's kind of like, no, I want to show up as myself all the time, because guess what? Everybody else is doing it. The people who are trying to change you are getting to be themselves, whether that's good, bad, or indifferent. They are choosing who they want to be, and they are getting to be that person. So I want to just encourage everybody, wake up every day with the sole mission to be your most true, authentic, beautiful, loud, sassy, fun self. And like the nieces say online, the girls that get it will get it, and the ones that won't. Because maybe you just will start regretfully declining to some of these things you're being invited to. If you know that going means that you're going to have to turn yourself into somebody else. And girl, that's what I have started doing too. When I'm invited to things now, if I feel, I told y'all this on the last episode, I'm like, who all is going to be there? What's happening? Because I need to decide, not for anyone that's there, but I need to decide for myself if I want to go based on what I know, because I want to make sure that if I go to something now, I feel like I can show up as me. And if for 1 second, if I feel like, oh, I can't even show up to that, like as me for whatever reason, then boo, I'm probably not going to go. Like, I'm going to find something else to do with my time, because I now, closer to 40, I know like, oh, we're only going to go where we are respected and celebrated. We're no longer going to go where we are just merely tolerated. Okay, pass the collection plate. This is our year. It's 2023. We're not doing certain things anymore, and I love that for us. So, moving on to the personal workout report, because let me tell you, I can't remember if we talked about this last time. I'm sure we did, but Santa got me those racked weights. They're down in the basement. I have been using them. I can feel the difference from using them. I'm very excited to get back into lifting heavier and getting those really good workouts in at home. But I also will begin working out with a personal trainer on January the 9th. Now, when I meet with this trainer, I'm going to let them know, like, for the most part, I really don't want to lose a whole ton of weight. I'm really more focused on maybe losing a couple inches here and there, leaning out. I'm more so interested on body recomposition and not necessarily weight loss. So I kind of want to stay the same size. I'm willing to probably lose a couple pounds here and there because I understand that that's how it works. But it's taken me a long time to finally be able to, well, for one, since I'm not teaching classes anymore, I don't have to be super small anymore. And I love that for me. So now that I do have curves and I feel like I'm happy with my actual size, I'm trying to keep my size, but I do want to lean it out just a little bit and see if I can maybe stay the same. And this is possible. So I'm not just pulling this out of nowhere. You can stay the same weight, but change your body composition and lose inches, right? And that's what I'm trying to do, which might be, that might be a tall order. I hope they match me up with a good personal trainer. My meeting with them is January 9th. So I'll make sure I share how everything goes. But I really do want to be given a workout plan and like a style of eating that will, just create a beautiful, curvy body. Like if I had to pick a celebrity for goals, who would I pick? I would maybe go with who has a really like bomb shape, but also like looks like very much so in shape. I don't know. The only person that comes to mind right now is like an Ashanti, like how Ashanti is curvy, but like when the girl puts on a bikini, like it's like, oh wow, like you're in great shape, right? Something like that, where you're curvy, but you're definitely still in really good shape. I'm going to have to figure out who's a good body goes. We love a Lori Harvey around here. Lori is probably way more lean than I probably have the discipline to be right now because I love the fact that I'm also able to like eat now and I don't have to stress out about it as much. But of course, we love Lori and Lori's progress. Speaking of which, this has nothing to do with my personal workout report, but something that I wanted to just mention because I've been studying a lot of like fitness influencers on TikTok. And I was in a Q&A session with somebody whose handle I can't even think of right now, but she was up there. She's a very popular like TikToker that works out, and people were in the Q&A like naturally asking her questions about her workouts, the way she eats, and like all of that stuff. Because people are like, oh, your body is goals. I want to look like you. And so the girl was telling them about the workouts because that's what she posts. That's the content that she shares. She is very consistent with posting those workouts, and they're always really good, simple, easy moves that pretty much anybody can do. So that's why I follow her, because I think that she puts out really, really good fitness content. But someone started asking her about her eating and how she eats. And she was like, oh, yeah, like don't ask me anything about food because I don't eat clean, right? She was like, I'll work out and then I'll leave here and go to Bojangles. Or like, I'll work out and I still I stay in somebody's drive-thru. So don't ask me no food questions because I'm not a clean eater. I eat whatever I want. And she said her age, and I can't remember what her age was, but it was like definitely in the 20s, which was another good reminder for me. It's like, oh yes, Tia, you gotta keep all things in perspective. When you're watching some of this stuff, we all do. We have to remember that some of these girls are in their 20s. And if people are not showing you what they're eating, it's either probably because they don't want to, or what they're eating is just not something they want to show, because they're still in that time of their life where they can work out and eat whatever they want. And we've all been there. We've all been 20 or 20 something where you could just eat whatever. You really could halfway work out and like, girl, you was still fine. Like we've all been there. Now that we are all closer to 40 or over 40, we realize that like, oh, I have to pay attention to all the things that I'm doing now. Like I'm no longer the young woman that can just, let the club be my cardio and then I'm eating whatever I want and things just magically tend to still work out in my favor. Like, no, those days are over. So when you're watching stuff online, try to keep all things into perspective. Because as I was studying people over this holiday break, I was just like, oh gosh, well, when I meet with my personal trainer, I was planning to like show different body types and show different workouts. So like just show things that I was interested in or things that I'd like to kind of work towards. And I had to take what that girl said close to heart and be like, oh, that's right. But she's in her 20s and she eats whatever she wants. So this is not a person that I need to, I need to take what she's saying seriously past the workout clips that I see, because her workouts are pretty dope. But she's able to do things that I can't do because, like we already said, I'm gonna be 39 in 5 minutes. So yeah, for my personal workout report, I'm going to meet with the personal trainer, see how that goes, see what plan we can get, and hopefully I'll see some progress from whatever that plan is between now and next month, because I'm definitely going to be looking for results since I'm working with a personal trainer. I have never worked with a personal trainer before, so I'm interested to see how it's gonna go. I also plan to get back into the sauna. I've been slacking on my sauna trips and visits, and that's just because things are just so busy from Halloween to the beginning of the year. And I realize now that going to the sauna is probably one of the best mindful activities that I do for myself, because when I'm in the sauna, I'll either listen to a meditation or I'll read a book, or sometimes I take a nap or whatever, but it's just 40 minutes that I'm able to like shut my mind off and either focus on something or just kind of rest in the quietness of my mind. And I really need that time. So I'm looking forward to getting back into the sauna this month too. So I'm excited for that. Now we're going to talk about some of the random yet relatable things that I think we have all been chatting about lately. Let's start with The Best Man, the final chapter. The Best Man is one of those series where each one just got better and better, right? Like the first movie, instant classic, right? The next one, we hated to see Mia pass away, but the movie was just so good. It was just so well done. Now here come the final chapters. And there was so much going on in these final chapters that I don't know if anyone else feels the way that I do, but I'm hoping there's like a part 2. There's like a follow-up to the final chapters, because there are a few things that I know I would like to see. And now that I've had some time to think about it, I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe there's not like a part 2 to the final chapters, but maybe what they can do. And, I hate to give 50 Cent credit for anything, but what he did with Power is what I feel The Best Man should do with their franchise as well. Like, we've had the final chapters. Now, here are a couple little spinoffs that I think the people would appreciate. I think we really would appreciate the prequel, like their college years. We would love to see how all of them became friends. We would love to see unfinished business basically like play itself out so we can see how Harper and Mia hooked up. We could see what Lance was like as like a football player. We can see the Harper Jordan love story and why they really kind of never got together. What else was Jordan's life like? Because all we ever hear about her throughout the whole franchise is how she's so in love with Harper, but that for whatever reason, they just never got together. And I know it's more to her than that. It's more to her than her just being someone who works hard and who has a thing for this guy who people say is a narcissist. Those are not my words. That is what the people said about him on Twitter. And I just kind of feel like, I don't know. I don't buy into that all that much. So something else people on Twitter were saying, they said that they wanted to see like a Jordan and Harper spinoff, a show that was kind of all about them. And I might be the only person that thinks that that's probably going to be a little boring. Because what are we going to see? They both are super ambitious. They're both going to work hard. Their relationship is going to have its ups and downs. And why do we need to see that? No, I don't think so. Like, I don't think we need that. I think a prequel would be better, like the unfinished business, the college years. Yes, give me that. And girl, let me tell you what else they can give me. They can give me a whole spinoff on Robin and her Ghana love story. That man she met in the market, She was so attracted to him. He felt the same way about her. They never showed anything popping off between the two of them. But I guarantee you, well, they never said if that guy went to Ghana or not, but we know Robin did. And I would love to see Robin's life in Ghana. I would love to see whatever comes with that. I feel like Sanaa Lathan in general is a good actress. I feel like she gives, like the romantic love story thing really well. And I also feel like her character, again, was one of the ones on The Best Man where all you ever heard her doing was whining and complaining over Harper and wanting him to be somebody that he was not. She was constantly trying to get him to see life and their relationship in a way that he just was never going to see it. And that's why she left him, and good for her for doing so. But I would love to see her story in Ghana kind of unfold, and maybe how they co-parent and how maybe she handles life between New York and Ghana. I think that would be super interesting. So they could kind of give us, The Best Man, the prequel, The Best Man, Robin's in Ghana. And I mean, I guess if the people really want it, I would watch it. I would watch Harper and Jordan, but I just really don't think we need it. And then, because I know people are going to miss Terrence Howard's character, him and Shelby, I think they should just drop him and Shelby and like Lance into some of these other, maybe they drop them into the one that's about Jordan and Harper. Like they drop the other couples into that one. And we get to see more of like their love stories or their stories in general. And I think that would be like super interesting. So I thought The Best Man was good. I appreciated that it was, 8 solid episodes that touched on a lot of different topics, and they touched on all of them just like so extremely well. So like, good for them for wrapping that up, if that is in fact the last we're going to see of these characters. Something else that I'm watching right now, only because it just started again, is Ginny and Georgia on Netflix. It is season 2, and that show is good. Now, that little girl, sometimes she gets on my nerves because she's telling all her mama's business, and I really don't understand why she's so upset with her mom I guess because committing murder is never something you should be proud of somebody for doing, but they haven't really said why Georgia did what she did, other than she felt like it was the right thing to do at the time for her and her kids. But I just feel like, as a kid, you shouldn't be selling your mama out like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it was me and like my daughter, I hope that my daughter would be like 10 toes down for me. You know what I'm saying? Especially since it's not like Georgia killed Jenny's daddy. Her daddy, Zion, is alive and well and thriving and doing so very handsomely. So it's not like, any of the people that she killed were people that were super, super important to Jenny. I just don't understand that. Like, why they're making her so upset over this. Like, yeah, I don't get it. But if you watch the season, because I don't want to give it away, like, it is truly very like upsetting to this child that she's learned all of these secrets about her mom. And I just don't get why her response has been what it has. But it's a good show. I'm not done with season 2 yet. I think I still probably have like at least 2 to 4 episodes left. I think I fell asleep on it last night. And when I fell asleep, I was on episode 7. And I'm not sure how many episodes there are after 7. But hopefully the season kind of wraps up in a way that makes sense, or like gives us some closure, answers questions and all of that. Because I'm curious to see where Georgia's relationship with the mayor is going to go. I really don't like him for her. I also don't want her to get back with Zion either. I really do want her to just get with the guy that owns the bakery, like the coffee shop. But I don't think that can happen because, girl, if you're watching season 2, then you already know why. Like, because then I can't say too much because I don't want to spoil it. And I didn't do a spoiler alert at the beginning. So please watch, please catch up. The show is really good. Something else that I'm going to start following is Married at First Sight, the Nashville season. It just started. I don't think they've had the weddings yet. All I've seen so far is like the casting special. And I'm very interested in these couples because already we can see where people are saying they don't like this, they don't like that. And girl, you got matched up with exactly what you said you didn't want. So I'm pretty sure the mess is guaranteed to ensue as these people marry each other without ever having known. But then I'm also always just really blown away by the fact that these couples get together and they stay together. And then they have like kids and everything. It's like, wow, y'all met each other without ever having even known each other. And I don't even think it was some love at first sight for them either. I think they just say, hey, I wanted to get married. I'm willing to marry whoever y'all match me with, and let's just see what happens. And I find that to just be, I don't know, just really incredible because I could never. I also saw recently online that Angela Simmons is now dating Yo Gotti. And if you listen to hip hop music, you know that man been in love with her for a long time. Now, the girls on Twitter say that when someone has been chasing you for a long time and you finally say, okay, let's do it, they say he's about to drag you through the mud. And I hope that's not true for Angela. Like, I hope that that's not going to be the case because they look real cute together. Those pictures that they put out, when I saw them, I had to text a friend and be like, oh my gosh, did you see this? She looks so cute. He looks so enamored with her. And they look like Young Money and Love, and that's great. So I'm going to stop right there. I think that's great for both of them. I don't know how old Yo Gotti is. I just know I feel like I've been listening to his music for a long time. But that means nothing. People start rapping when they're like, 17? So like he could have been a kid when he started rapping. And I don't know how old Angela is either. I don't know if she's even 30 yet. But they look really cute together. And I wish them both all of the best. I hope they do not do a reality TV show, though, because I feel like if they do, if he goes on her show, I feel like that's going to be the end of that relationship. So hopefully they keep it real cute off TV. I took down my holiday decorations like the day or two after Christmas. I do that every year, and nothing makes you feel your inner Grinch more than walking through your house and snatching all that stuff down a day or two after Christmas. It gives like, ooh, this was fun while it lasted. And also like, let's move on at the same time. But it definitely makes me feel like a Grinch every year when I do it. But I'm always better for having done it that soon after Christmas, because then I get to still enjoy all of the days left of this break without having to do any of that stuff. Holiday decorations also, I feel like because I put them up so early that I'm able to take them down really early too and not have any like real feelings about it. You know, I'm like, girl, once y'all open these gifts and everyone's happy with what they got and everyone's all in the festive, yeah, we get it. It's time for all of these Santas to go back down to the basement and hibernate until next year. So I don't know how early other people take their decorations down, but I really try not to let my decorations see the first of the year. I recently stumbled upon a dupe for Skims at Target. I don't even know the name of the brand, but it's very inexpensive. It's cute little loungewear, 2-piece sets. There's no support in any of these bralettes, so you can't work out in them. But if you go to Target, they're hanging up in the same area where they keep like pajamas and stuff. And I want to say like a bralette might be $7 or $10. The matching shorts and leggings, I think might be $10 or $17. The sets are so cute. They don't come in that many colors. So far, all I've seen is like red, white, black, like that burnt orange or coral color and gray. So maybe this is like a test run and Target is going to like put out more once they see how people are responding to them. But it is like, it appears to be anyway, some type of like loungewear dupe for some of these other companies that we know about. And I have been loving mine. One other thing that I'm planning to work on in 2023 is my reading goals. Now, I follow a lot of people who read a lot of books every year, and I'm always amazed when they read like over 100 books in any one year? Because I'm like, girl, how did you do that? And through a conversation I had with a friend, she reminded me that like, oh, Tia, some people prioritize reading in the same way you prioritize like eating and working out. And that made perfectly good sense to me. And so what I decided was, number one, I'm not going to compare my reading journey to that of anyone else's, because that is the first thief of progress and joy, and I can't do that. But what I can do is just say, oh, like, girl, we're just going to read more books. And if I read 3 books this year, that's more books than I read last year. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I love Audible, and I love a good audio book, especially if it's a memoir and the memoir is read by the person that wrote it. That normally really like grabs me in. And the same friend that I spoke to about like reading and all of this, she was like, oh, you probably need books that are true page turners. She was like, I think that if you were reading books that were complete, like ultimate page turners, you wouldn't be able to put a book down, and that would keep you reading, and you would read more books all throughout the year. So she recommended a few books to me, and I'm going to share these 2 books with you, and maybe we can all kind of start our year reading them together. Now, I was already reading a book called The Mastery of Love. It's written by the same person that wrote The 4 Agreements. It's a book about love. You basically just study love and how love and fear can exist at the same time, and how you can be in relationships with people and how you're expecting love to show up or what you're expecting love to be, when really love is your own responsibility. Like your love of self is your complete ultimate own responsibility, and you can't really expect anyone else to love you the way that you love yourself. And it makes such good sense. Read that book. If you have not ever even heard of it, read it. It's called The Mastery of Love. And it's a quick, short little read, but it's so deep, and it talks so much about how we can better release ourselves from the mindset of thinking it's other people's responsibility to make us feel filled with love and or happiness. Like it's so great. So great. And my word for last year was love. So I wanted to end my year reading that book, and girl, with my schedule and my life, that book has found its way into 2023 with me too, because I was only halfway through with it at the end of 2022. So here we are, but it's a great book. Everybody should read it. Now, my friend recommended a book to me called You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. It has a beautiful cover. And let me tell you how I know this book is going to be a page turner, because when I opened it and I started reading it, the very first sentence of the book smacked me in my face, and it had me. If you've read this book, then you know exactly what I mean. And I'm not going to read it here on the podcast because I want everybody to go out and buy it and read it. But the very first sentence of the book, I leaned in and I said, oh yes, I'm here and I'm ready for this. So I'm excited to read that. And then the other book that she told me to get that I definitely ordered, and now I didn't write the name of the book down. So now I can't remember what it is. Oh, Tia, try to think. What was the name of that book? What was the name of that book? Oh, it's not going to come to me in enough time. I just know it's not. So I'll try to share it. I already ordered it on Amazon and it's coming in. So just be on the lookout on my Instagram stories for that. But there was another book that she mentioned that's supposed to be just like equally as good, and I'm excited to read that one too. So my reading goals for this year is to, if I can read a book a month, like girl, that's probably going to quadruple the amount of books that I read last year. So we'll see where I end up. I'm excited for that. And then lastly, before we go, girl, yes, my birthday is next month. So, my personal new year starts on February the 7th. I'm very excited about turning 39. I can't wait to see what I might be doing 30 days from now, or, where all of the changes that I feel like I would like to implement. I would like to see where they are as I start my personal new year, because as I count down to the big 4-0, I'm very excited about just coming into more of myself, being who I am, reducing my stress levels in doing so, and just continuing to thrive and glow and just simply just be without worrying about it so much. That is giving me so much peace. So if you need to get in contact with me, about the accountability program. Oh, yes, let me mention that. We have a whole new group of women starting the winter semester, if you will, of TVF University. It starts January the 9th. Girl, it's not too late to reserve a spot if you want to do that. Go to the website, go to TVF University, grab your spot. You'll need to join our private Facebook group and get started. I'm so excited about the changes that I've made to the program to make it more interactive so that we can engage with each other a lot more. Hopefully that helps hold people accountable to the things that we discuss, and you do feel that you have adopted a new lifestyle at the end of the 30 days. I'm excited to see these women grow and change and really adopt the lifestyles that they, want to have as we start a new year. So if you're interested in joining me with that group, go to the website, click on TVF University, and go through the checkout process. You can email me at tiavfitness@gmail.com if you have any questions, or you can always feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram at tiavfitness. Remember, we never knock another woman's hustle, right? Compliment a woman when you're out and you see her and she's feeling really good about herself. Tell her something about herself that makes her feel even better. Be the icing on another woman's cake. Remember, don't compare, don't compete, don't complain. What God has for you is for you. And girl, it's 2023. It's our Jordan year. So we're going to always show up as our true, authentic selves wherever we go. And the girls that get it will get it. And the ones that won't just won't. Girl, make them miss your absence. I love you so much. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Tia's Table. And I'll see you back here in about 2 weeks. Happy New Year.